Finance and Budget Committee meeting together, and the special city council meeting as well. Okay, item A on the agenda is mayor's presentation of the 2022 budget.
Pull that up there if you can there, council,
Yep.
city manager, appreciate it.
And get to that.
All right, here we go. As we all know, that in accordance with the city charter, the mayor gets to talk 2 times for sure. This is being one of those times in presenting the 2022 draft appropriation of budget for the city of Napoleon. I want to thank Kevin and Joel for all their hard work throughout this whole process. Go to the next slide, please. This is how the city income tax has broken out. We have that's 37-63 split. I think last year we always aim for, the ultimate goal is 50-50. Historically, we've done a 62-38 split, and now when you add in reciprocity and some other things, it's getting closer to this. I think last year we were off a little bit with the influx of ARPA dollars. Next year should be much closer to that 62-38 split before the reciprocity, because we all know the reciprocity is going mostly for people. If you go to the next slide, please. Like we talked about, when we told our citizens that we represent where we're going to spend the reciprocity tax on, we're going to spend it on people. One is going to be the first-year part-time firefighter. They're the overnight person, the part-time overnighter. We also have the 6th dispatcher. When I first got on council, the mayor at the time and some other people on council wanted to do away with our dispatch and have our dispatch, our units from the sheriff. And we went through that, and the compromise we came up with was just to cut dispatch by a person. And we have now learned, I think over the last 5 or 6 or more years, that's not very conducive to the police department, also safety services. So we're adding a 6th dispatcher in there. Hope to have a little more longevity in those slots. When our emergency people need to call in, they need somebody trained and calm. And the more they're trained, the calmer they are. That's what that's going to give us. We also have in there is a full-time firefighter that we'll make sure that we have in there. So that's the other thing that we're doing. Go ahead. As you can see, the revenue by category, all funds, we're estimating about $55 million in revenue. Obviously, the big one is electric utility. That's mostly a pass-through. Also make sure we're watching that sanitation and refuse. It's under $1 million at 836. But it's also always a big one to watch. It's one of the services we provide to our citizens. I think we do a really good job of that year in and year out. Just got to make sure we're watching that number. So that's what we're expecting on the way in, and on the way out, we're expecting 59 million. So you wait, how can you plan these kind of numbers? So we did it the Greg Heath method, which is always overestimate costs, underestimate income. And usually at the end of the year, we come out and we're pretty strong. So this is less than 4 million. It is 4 million, 59 minus 55. I think we're less than 4 when you actually add those numbers up. Again, the big one in there is the purchase power of just under 14 million at 13.8. Obviously, debt payments is big at 1.5 million. That's something that we've been able to use, especially recently with some really historically low interest rates. So those are not going to really adjust or really have a hard time overcoming those kind of debts. Chad and everyone does a really good job of getting the grants and the really low-cost loans that help us keep our project costs as low as possible. If you go to the next slide, what you're going to see are the major capital items. You see the major paving project we're going to do around the Napoleon area schools, to Westmoreland, and also the Briarheath. I commend Kevin for getting his Briarheath done. He's only been here 3 months, and he's already getting his street done, so it's well done. Obviously, tongue very much in cheek. So, what also is nice on here, when you go through the Ritter, the Front Street, wastewater, those 3, the total cost is $835 for the Ritter Street. A lot of that's going to be, so that's going to be grant. The Front Street project is also going to be a lot of that is grant. You see the Front Street project, $887,000. But the total cost is $118. So again, we're using those grants, we're using those state and federal dollars to stretch our taxpayers' dollars as much as possible. Obviously, the wastewater treatment plant, we're getting a lot of grants, also working on that, on those low-cost loans. We gotta fix the city boat launch. It's a service we provide. I think Tony and his people do a great job year in and year out, to provide that service. And you can just tell by how many long-term docks there are right now down there by the city boat launch, of how many people use that, day in and day out, year in and year out. And if it's gonna be bad, let's fix it before it gets even worse. We'll go to the next one. The machinery equipment, the two patrol cars, this is almost a must. When our police officers need their car to respond, we have to have it respond. And they get to be a certain amount of hours and a certain amount of miles, and they just do not respond like they absolutely have to. Obviously, the bucket truck for the tree trimming, we're talked to about that, how the current one is working, but it's being held together by duct tape, glue, and a prayer. So we need a new one for that. The storage building for electric department at $357,000. We're gonna bring that back. That is the budgeted number. We'll see what the cost is and see what kind of size is that gonna be the size we want or not? And obviously then the backhoe at 138. If we can get a new backhoe, I think this is the time to get it before the old one gets way too old. So now we've talked about this. This is now the third time we talked about the budget. This is the first reading tonight. We'll also have a second reading and a third reading before it's actually approved. But again, I want to commend Kevin and Joel and the entire staff for doing just an amazing job. I still remember my first budget. The city manager at the time came in, sat down, and the meeting started, looked at council and says, well, you got a budget. And it's not like that at all. There's very little number changing during the process. It was a very clean, well thought of, well organized process. We're not flipping through two books. Just a really great process. So does anybody have any questions about the budget for tonight?
No, sir.
Thank you very much. We can do that.
All right, you wanna do that?
Yeah. I'd like to adjourn the Finance and Budget Committee, please. What else is on it?
I'll second. Jackson, yeah, right. Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Joe?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
All right. We're gonna jump to item E2. That is discussion or action on acceptance of $10,000 donation from the Napoleon Eagles for a golf simulator. We have Jeff Hofer here. If you could walk up towards the microphone here. Maybe bring Tony with you. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
All right, let us know how you came up with this and how you guys raise the money, what your thoughts are.
So the Eagles itself, we are obligated to donate X amount of dollars that we raise throughout the year through our ticket funds and just overall sales and stuff like that. Currently, I'm the treasurer, so as we were sitting down in the basement, we were kind of talking about different things that we could donate to and just going over all the stuff that we normally do to try to give away some of the money that we have to give away. And it was right around the time that the water park was getting finished, and kind of noticed that other people were like advertising, and then started inquiring. I was like, I kind of want to jump on this ride, you know, kind of get our name out there, and whatever I could do to kind of at least get our name as an organization out there, and show that we want to kind of help the town where we can and however we can. So kind of reached out to Tony at that point. I was like, hey, you know, do you guys need help with anything? Is there anything available that we can donate to get our name out there? And we kind of just spitball some ideas around, and when we started talking about the golf simulator, it was something I thought would be a really good thing and something to be very useful to have. So I took it down to our meeting and put it in front of everybody, and something that I think would be useful and something that I think I'd like to see our name on and be a part of. So we did reach out to the Grand Airy. They're gonna match us $5,000 for $5,000. So half of it will be coming from us locally, the other half will be coming from the Grand Area as a whole. Unless they fall through, then we're just gonna cover the whole thing, but
That's awesome. Appreciate you thinking of us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
If you have extra, I'd like a hot tub at my house. Have extra money, you're just
We've
giving
been
away.
trying that for 2 years. Apparently, the fund of Jeff is not adequate enough to give money
All
to.
right.
So, if I make headway on that, though, I'll give you a call.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions? Jeff? Come on, put him on the spot.
Jeff, how's a lot of organizations are struggling with membership and those kinds of things. How's the Eagles doing?
Fantastic, actually.
It's good to hear.
We've grown exponentially over the last 4 years. I think we've more than doubled since the first 20 before I stepped in and started really paying attention to the numbers and seeing
Okay.
how everything was going. But I mean, slow and steady wins the race.
Right.
And the more things that I can do to make the club better and reach out and be more visible is my biggest goal there. I think a lot of people forget about it because we're a small alleyway that serves beer in a place you probably never even know it's there. So I guess just trying to be out there and let people know what we do and
Right.
try to get more people on board. And it's I think that's helped a lot with our membership drive and being able to continue going on with what we try to do. So
We appreciate the partnership, because I know the Eagles have been very generous to the city of Napoleon in lots of ways, to us and then also to schools and other stuff, so appreciate all the stuff. Maybe you've donated, what else have you guys donated that, something else comes to my mind? Fire equipment or police equipment or something, maybe? I'm
we
thinking this
donated-
right? Chief, you nodded your head, police something?
Yes,
Yeah,
we donated, I believe, to the dog, right?
yes, dog, and then
Dog.
there was boxes that they did a few years ago in the back of the equipment boxes.
oh, that's
Yeah,
right,
that's
okay, yep,
Yep, that
yep,
was a big one, yeah.
okay,
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
earlier this year we did the state rings for the girls basketball team.
oh, very cool,
Yeah,
So yeah, that's stuff like that's kind of what I'm trying to gear more towards. That I think does better good than finding something random in another town that doesn't really serve us a better
Right.
purpose. So
we appreciate it, thank you
yeah,
so much.
absolutely. And in the future, if anything ever comes up that we could be of assistance, please reach out to me and let me know. And
Make sure Tony has your contact information, so we can burn that phone up.
Will do. Will do.
If
Tony,
I may,
yeah.
I just want to obviously thank the Eagles for this generous donation. I know Jeff reached out to me several months ago, and we were kind of wrapping up, the pool project, but there were some things that, because of budget reasons, that we knew we had to kind of put on the back burner, and that this was one of the things that we were talking about, items, we talked about umbrellas and things like that, and then the issue of the simulator came up, and he says, wow, that'd be great. And so he jumped right on it. He went to his people and came back to me and says, yeah, they really want to do it. So, he was very, very interested, very passionate about it and saw it through. So, Jeff, thank you very much.
Not a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be well used and people are really going to enjoy it.
Tony, you have any ideas of how people will know that the simulator came from the Eagles? We're gonna put something.
Yeah,
there.
actually Joel and I already talked about trying to figure out a way in which we can put some sort of a sign up, once we get it installed and everything, so we'll certainly make sure we do that.
Great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jeff.
Very cool.
Okay, could I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross,
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Is there anything that, we'll wait for him?
We can wait. Is it all right, everybody? Wait 2 seconds for Brian to do his work? Is it all right, real quick?
You have a speech
Yeah,
for us?
because he's really gonna miss the exciting part of the meeting.
Well,
Oh, yeah, yes.
Really.
talked to you guys up this morning, Chief, about how when the patrolmen are out, when snow comes, that you call the dispatch and
Thank you.
kind of making that, just showing the teamwork that people don't realize, you know what I mean? It's just, don't realize all the decision that goes into it, so.
Right.
Same people that think that Jeff gets to make all the bus garage decisions, right? He looks out his window, it's snowing, yeah, it's delayed for 2 hours. No, don't quite get that, he doesn't quite get that, so.
Okay, we'll move on to item B, first reading of resolutions and ordinances.
You ready, Brian? Okay. yeah.
B1, resolution number 048-21, a resolution amending resolution number 063-20, the city's yearly reoccurring cost legislation, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. We-
I'll, if you don't mind, I'll take this and Kevin can jump in
Okay,
at any time. And then, next year Kevin can, either way. But, these, I just want to preface that a lot of these are just end-of-year legislation. I believe we have the, the pay plan and a bunch of other things that just happen every year. This first one is for reoccurring costs. And what this does is it prevents city council from having to have hundreds of pieces of legislation in addition to what's already out there. And this kind of blankets everything here so that we can cover the costs for, things like postage or just things that we have, expenses that may or may not go over $25,000 that would require the requisite legislation for each individual transaction. So, but, during the course of the year, like using postage as the example with the postmaster, it's, if it goes over 25,000, then that's covered in here. So it's just your day-to-day operations, things that you purchase on a daily, weekly, even monthly basis, depending on what the item is. So you'll see things in here like postage or, police and fire pension payments, things like that, things that we have to do in order to operate. So, that's for this one, requesting first read on this.
good, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Okay, item B2, ordinance number 049-21, an ordinance authorizing the the council of the city of Napoleon, Ohio to establish a water rate review commission and amending Title V of the codified ordinances of the city of Napoleon, Ohio, specifically adding Chapter 183, Water Rate Review Commission, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
Second.
Okay, Joel?
Thank you, Council President. This is came out of the Board of Public Affairs and Water and Sewer Committee. And this is also part of the establishment of a Water Rate Review Commission. Actually came out of part of the discussions we had with the Village of Florida and renewing their contract. So as a result, council directed the law director to draft legislation for the next council meeting. This would be the first read of that. So the language is in here, the establishment and purpose of the Water Rate Review Commission. And it just kind of outlines, what the makeup of the commission is, when they'll meet, and then, appointment of a chair by city council, and then the rules established by the governing boards and commissions, procedures for governing boards and commissions. Any questions on that item?
When
Just
we
requesting
say
first read.
community, we mean any community recognized by state, local? What do we mean?
New water contract.
Okay,
For instance, Village of Florida would be
Right.
one.
right.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Okay, item B3, resolution number 050-21, a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds over $25,000 for the replacement of control panels at the Palmer Ditch Lift Station, which was not included in the 2021 master bid resolution for the City of Napoleon, Ohio wastewater treatment plant, and to sole source said replacement to the Cron Liebing Company and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Second.
Joel?
Thank you, Council President. This was, as we discussed the last time, this was for the, request for this came from an emergency that we had at our lift station, at the Palmer Ditch Lift Station, and that lift station is critical for providing sewer collection services for the entire south side. It's the collection point that pumps the water to the wastewater plant across the river. So it's not on here, but we're requesting suspension due to the nature of the incident and immediate need for the replacement of the control panels. The control panels themselves experience some, we do have corrosion that was affected by the, basically the lift station filled with sewer water. And it was in the control system. So, and that's, the control panels have, they're basically electrical cabinets that have, transformers, alternators, they're starters for the pumps and things like that nature. So, sewer water is corrosive by nature, so, we'll see corrosion. Also, the request for suspension, I believe is necessary for the, getting it started so that they don't have these sitting on a shelf. They gotta build them. So, cuts down on the time and hopefully they have enough parts and things available to get the work done quickly. So that's the request now is for suspension and passage of this.
If we pass it now, are they ready to get working on it right now?
We're ready to, sign a contract with them to get them started to build it so that they can
Okay.
hopefully deliver it in a few weeks. And it's Gorman Rupp is the company, so it's a packaged lift station, so they're aware of our situation, and they'll be able to accommodate.
Okay.
Motion for suspension.
Second.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll on suspension.
Joe?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Okay, do we have any questions? Okay, Rox, please call the roll on the resolution.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Okay, that has passed under suspension on first read. Item B4 is resolution number 051-21, resolution authorizing expenditure of funds in excess of $25,000 in and for the year 2022 as it relates to reoccurring costs associated with the operation of the city for payment of expenses and for purchases associated with vendors utilized by multiple departments within the city, elimination of necessity of competitive bidding, in and for the year 2022 as it relates to certain transactions and declaring an emergency. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Joel?
Thank you. This is another annual legislation for the, I guess, would be considered the master vendor ordinance, and it helps waive competitive bidding on some things, but and a lot of these we won't bring legislation back, but on any purchases over $25,000 will come to the city council for approval under good of the city.
All right, any questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Okay, item B5, resolution number 052-21, a resolution authorizing the expenditure of funds and authorizing a department director to take bids on certain projects, services, equipment, materials, or supplies without the requirement for additional legislation to do so in the year 2022 and declaring an emergency. A motion?
I'll motion.
Second.
Okay, Joel?
Kind of the same deal. This is what we would consider the master bid ordinance. So these are the types of items that we would be purchasing. Pickup truck for Parks and Rec, boat ramp improvements, the things that are over $25,000. Again, typically we bring them back for approval with the city council during good of the city.
Okay, any questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
All right, item B6, ordinance number 053-21, an ordinance establishing a new position classification plan, or pay plan for employees of the city of Napoleon, Ohio for the year 2022, repealing ordinance number 067-20 and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Joel?
Thank you. This would be for the new pay plan for the non-bargaining employees. And it has effective with the first pay period of year 2022, a 2.25% increase salaries for the year 2022. So,
Okay, any questions or comments? Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Okay, item B7, ordinance number 055-21, an ordinance establishing the appropriation measure budget of the city of Napoleon, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022, listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, Joel?
and this is basically the passage of the budget. So I don't really have much else to add other than the hours and time that everybody put into putting this together and the time that you spent reviewing it, so.
And the great presentation. Looked nice today. Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
All right. Item B8, resolution number 056-21, a resolution authorizing the finance director to transfer certain fund balances from respective funds to other funds per section 5705.14 ORC on an as-needed basis in fiscal year 2022, listed in Exhibit A, and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Second.
Joel?
And this is the end-of-year transfers and budget adjustments to reconcile the year. So all of this will transfer over, and then the CAFR will be put together. We'll get the end-of-the-year results. CAFR will be put together by June of next year.
Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Okay, item B9, ordinance number 057-21, an ordinance amending the allocation of funds as found in sections 193.11 and 194.013 of the codified ordinances of City of Napoleon, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
And this is the income tax split from capital to operating.
Does this include reciprocity?
This includes reciprocity.
Okay, any other questions, comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
All right, item B10, resolution number 058-21, a resolution authorizing a contribution to the Community Improvement Corporation of Henry County, Ohio, in and for the year 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Motion.
Was there a second? I'm sorry.
Yep.
Oh, there was, okay. Thank you, Council President. This is for the annual allocation for the CIC. We do have a contract with them. We've budgeted $39,000 to contribute to them. They bill us quarterly.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
All right, and B11, ordinance number 059-21, an ordinance apportioning the expenses incurred, including wages, salaries, and fringe benefits of the mayor, council, and various other departments of the city of Napoleon, which are not otherwise directly charged to special and/or capital projects among various accounts effective January 1st, 2022, amending ordinance numbers 104-09, 087-19, and 069-20, and declaring an emergency.
Motion?
Second.
Joel?
Thank you. We talked about this during budget and kind of referenced it, but each department is split out, including city council, and by department, I mean, when you go to each account fund, so city council being account number 1100, mayor's account is 1200, city manager's 13, and on from there. Each department, all of the expenses are split out amongst the different funds. So a certain portion of that is general fund, that's all the major funds. So that's general fund, electric, water, sewer, sanitation funds. So that pretty much covers the, each department is split out by percentage differently. So if you know, a city manager is a little bit higher on the electric side because of the amount of time spent with AMP, on the AMP board, and like that. But, everything else is kind of split out a little differently. And nothing has changed from previous year. So.
All right, any questions? Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
All right.
I'm sorry, just so I can qualify that, nothing has changed in percentages from previous years.
Okay, item C, we have no second readings of resolutions or ordinances. So item D, third readings of resolutions and ordinances. We have D1, resolution number 045-21, a resolution authorizing the city manager to renew a contract with Whirler Waste Control and Recycling Incorporated without the necessity of public bidding and declaring an emergency. Motion?
Motion.
Second.
Nothing new to add, requesting third read.
Any new questions or comments? Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Okay, that is passed on third read. Okay, moving on to item E. E1, I guess we're skipping that tonight, again,
Yes, Chip has requested to be on for the December 20th meeting.
December 20th. Okay, thank you. And we already took care of E2. We'll move on to E3, discussion or action converting income tax administration and collection to Rita. Just directing the law director, unless there's any comments or anything.
Well, this is just our first step into requesting the law director to draft the legislation for the next council meeting for the first read of changing over the process to the RETA. We'll join what's called the Regional Council of Governments, and that's what the legislation will state. So at this point, we're just requesting for the legislation to be completed.
All right. Any questions or comments on that?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff?
Yes.
Molly?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Joe?
Yes.
Lori?
Yes.
Okay, item E4, discussion or action appointing Mayor Jason Mazel and one council member to represent the city of Napoleon, Ohio as a member of the Board of Directors of the Community Improvement Corporation of Henry County, Ohio.
Would like to appoint myself and council member Molly Napoli, please.
All right. And any questions or comments on this?
This is typically done by legislation. Do you want legislation? I don't think it's
I
necessary.
don't think it's necessary.
Okay.
I think the way it reads, I appoint and then the council approves.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think the CIC needs legislation either, and if they do, we can just throw it together real quick, I think.
I've not researched it. I just know that it was always done that way, and so we had something ready just in case.
So we can just entertain a motion,
Just a motion, yeah.
motion to go through that.
Second.
Okay, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly,
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Yes.
Okay, that has been approved. Item F, adjournment.
Motion.
Hey, Rox, please call the roll.
Jeff,
Yes.
Molly.
Yes.
Ross.
Yes.
Joe,
Yes.
Lori.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for coming in on a special